spreading the love of what it is that they do. Um, we at Special Ed have been trying to get all of our groups to do this. Over time with changes in people, not everybody knows what everybody does. And then sometimes there are questions after committee, man, I thought that kid was going to qualify for sure and he didn't. And why is that? So just to be proactive and do a little education PR at the same time, our ladies thought, let's talk about adapted phys ed, what it is that they do that makes it different, what's the eligibility, so you know if when you're making a referral and if it's likely to uh, warrant an assessment and services or not. And so I am going to take care of letting people in, and I'm going to turn it over to our two ladies today. Who's going to start first? So we have Inez and Andrea here today.
Hello,
And
everyone. So I'll be starting today. Thank you for coming. My name is Andrea Macrig, and I was a PE teacher like everyone here, or hopefully everyone here. I started out in Arahan Middle School, and I recently just got moved to the Leisure Ed Services to apply my adaptive PE certification. And then I also have, or my partner is here, Inez Perez.
Hi everybody, my name is Inez Perez. So Andrea is like the PE aspect, and then I'm more of the resource room SPED aspect, which I was working in the resource room for a few years at Price Elementary.
So the reason why we really called this presentation, and before I go any further, can everyone please just sign in on the chat, say what school you're from, so we know what schools we need to really get in contact with if they're not here today to try to do a training with them. But like I was going to say, is the reason why we want to really push for this is one, we want to let you guys know who we are because we want to start a beautiful partnership. We don't want any we don't want you guys to not be sure of who we are and how we could keep in contact with us, especially if you have our students who are in leisure ed. We are more than happy for all you guys to reach out to us so we can have a collaboration and this partnership to really work together to help students with special needs. So we look forward to, I say partnership, not because it's really going to be a collaborative effort in order to work with our students. And I know some of you guys have an adaptive PE certification or background already, but also what we can help with is the students that you get from Leisure Ed Services. We have experience, or we know their personality, and we know what activities they enjoy. So I'm going to keep saying collaboration. We're going to keep collaborating with each other and have this partnership. Um, Also today, like Mr. Neal said, that we're going to be really explaining in regards to what assessment we use if you guys put your referral in, what we're looking for. And honestly, this is a point for us to start. This is a starting point for us to hear from you guys what trainings you're interested in or what's your concerns. If you have any questions, please put it on the chat and Ms. Inez or I will be looking at it and we'll be answering all the questions at the end. So if you look at our presentation and something comes up that you have a question about, please put it in the chat. And also, like I said, in the chat, put your name and what school you're from so we know what schools we need to really follow up with that maybe did not get the link for today. Ms. Inez, did I forget anything before I move forward with the presentation?
No, sounds good. I'll be monitoring questions while she's talking and vice versa.
Okay. So like I said, we are Leisure Ed Services. Let's see. Oh, it's not making me there. So before I get into what we offer, did you guys know that IDI 2004 requires that students with disabilities have physical education as a direct service, and physical education is the only content area mentioned within this legislation. So it's specifically indicated in IDI 2004 that physical education has to try to make specially designed instructions for students with disabilities. So our program description, this is from the newly updated SOP. Also, we're working on getting our, making a little bit of changes in the referral for us to get approved for this year, but based off the one that was approved, this is our description, which is we serve students ages 3 to 22 with intellectual, physical, medical, and emotional disabilities. We also provide the basic skills needed to participate in gross motor activities with family, peers, community members at home, school. So what we really try to promote in our program is that when individuals look at our program, they kind of think, oh, they only do this, they take them out to the mall or they take them out to GPO. But what we're trying to really concentrate on is that if we're working on gross motor skills that are assessed, for example, locomotor skills, manipulative skills, strength building skills, how can that relate? How do those gross motor activities relate to them doing it at home, at school, in the community? So we really try to transfer these skills to multiple settings and not just put it into one setting. So that's really been our goal of our program this year. Or not this year, I'm sorry. I should say overall. So like I said, this is from the current SOP that has been improved, the eligibility. So what I want us to all really concentrate on is that the first test is the test of gross motor skills development -2, TGMD. And this one specifically, we concentrate more on for our elementary level. In regards to you guys as PE teachers, we concentrate on the BOP2 tests for secondary level. And the sections we concentrate on is subsection 5 through 8. And that's more of the agility, strength, balance, and upper limb coordination. Those are the 4 aspects that we concentrate on. So we follow that test and we follow that test and we really look at those areas and then we do an overall score. And that's how we see if there's a delay in their motor skills. In addition, another eligibility requirement is that they need training in lifetime leisure skills for inclusion at school, home, and the community. So if you notice, we were really trying to make sure that we indicate multiple settings in our eligibility and also in our program description. So types of services that we provide. Ms. Inez is really going to go into the direct services we provide for this school year with the unique situation. But I really wanted to concentrate on the other aspects that we provide. So pull-out sessions in small groups, consultation, staffing, everything you guys could read here. But I want to really go into detail of what we could do with our partnership. So consultation, we really want to make sure that our PE teachers feel comfortable with coming out to us. Maybe we might not even have your student, but you have a question. As long as you don't indicate the student's name, me and Inez are more than happy to collaborate with you guys if you have a concern in regards to a student with visual impairment. A good example is that for consultation is that I have a student who's visually impaired who had difficulty doing jumping jacks because I know that you guys are concentrating on with the current situation fitness. So what I recommended for that family is that we break it into small steps where she's able, or the student was able to follow the instructions. If you give it verbally, you just had to break it down for the students into smaller steps. So I had to break it down for the students. Step 1, hands together. So those are the kind of suggestions and we can make in regards to working with students with special needs. So that's more for consultation. Teacher aid trainings and parent family trainings. Specifically for the teacher aid trainings, it was brought to my attention by another PE teacher that maybe the area that they would be interested in regards to trainings is maybe a training specifically in autism for physical education. And if that's something that you guys are looking at for our collaboration sessions, and me and Inez will be happy to do another training in regards specifically for autism. So if that's something that everyone or a few PE teachers are interested in, also please put that in the comments, I mean, not comments, the chat group, so we could start organizing that. When we do that training, we also will be working with the autism section so that they would be approving or giving us suggestions in our slideshow. So you'll see that we're really working together to get that information or that concern to you guys. Another thing that I want to talk about is the assistive devices and equipment. Currently, right now, LES is looking at getting more equipment. If you have a student with special, or if you have a student who's in the LES program and you're concerned in regards to equipment, if we could try, we will be more than happy to work together to try different equipment to see how to get them involved. We're trying to update our equipment. So we do have like some ringing balls, but it hasn't been used in probably a while. So if you email us and let us know, we'll be happy to work with you, but I can't promise that we have anything updated, but we are working on that. But this is how we can really be working together to make sure that we are we have a great partnership with all our schools, not just certain schools. Okay, so Inez is going to take over in regards to explain the direct services we are implementing for this school year.
Thank you, Miss Andrea. So, so the types of services that we have, are we on the slide? Oh, the next slide. Thank you. Okay. Of course, in the current situation, it's a little bit different. So what we're going to go over today is the services that we offer right now while we're working from home with the COVID situation. So the first one we have is home learning online. Option number 1, we have the website or videos. So we have a Leisure Ed website that we'll show you guys later, where we update, we put different videos, different activities on there. The purpose of this option is to provide families with a variety of exercises at different ability levels that can be done at home with the students. So a lot of times we've been getting some parents saying they're not confident, they don't know what activities to do. So this website is an easy way for them to access different exercises from the convenience of their phone while they're out with their children. Andrea and I also send videos to parents depending on their interest. So some parents like the website, some parents prefer we send them videos of us doing activities to where their student can watch and follow. So that's our first online learning option that we offer. Online learning option number 2, Zoom or Google Meet. This is when Andrea and I, the LES teachers, work on objectives and goals during direct sessions online on Zoom or Google Meet. So it's very similar to us, for example, coming into the school, working with the students on their specific skills. But of course, with the COVID situation, we do this via Zoom or Google Meet. Some parents prefer to do it via WhatsApp video or FaceTime, and that's been working. In regards to time, we adjust the time based on students' interest level and ability to stay on task. So for example, maybe Miss Andrea might have a student that can attend to the activities for 30 minutes, but another student maybe very different and maybe only last 10 minutes. So these two options are very flexible to the student's needs. Any questions so far? No? Okay. I'm gonna go on to the next one, home learning hard copy. I know everybody's doing hard copy as well. So we drop activities that correlate with the child's specific LES goals and objectives on a bi-weekly basis. We usually collaborate with parents to see what their child has at home, what their child's interested at home, and the activities they have available as well. And we make those recommendations based on all of those factors. Things that can be done easily for the parent that correlate to the student's goals are done via hard copy as well. Go to the next slide. So here is our Leisure LES website that I mentioned earlier. We have different tabs here that correlate with the different skills that we work on. So for example, you can see that we have tabs and, oh, are you going to go to the website? Yeah, we have different tabs correlating with the different skills that we work on. So Andrea, are you going to show them the website? There you go.
Yes, I'm bringing it up.
Okay. So here's our website. Like I said, we have different tabs that correlate with the different skills on each student's IEP. So every student's IEP and goals are different. If you have a student who needs help in flexibility, then you would click the flexibility tab. And there are different visuals that you can use as a parent, as a teacher, and as a student. So a lot of our students, they need visual cues. So these can actually be printed out or they can be enlarged on your phone to show the student the expected exercise to follow. So maybe we can go to strength building. So we have flexibility, we have strength building, we have locomotor, and manipulative. The most common gross motor skills that a lot of our kiddies have been working on throughout the school years. And just different ideas. This is available to anybody. The link is on the DOE website. And if you want, we can also send it to you in the chat here as well. And lastly, on the website, we have our virtual field trips. These are virtual field trips that Andrea and I film on a monthly basis. We do one skill that we can do, for example, at home, and one skill that we can do out in the community. So for November, we did a field trip at the park, which was kite flying. And we can show you a little bit of that. This has been really important to families, especially in this situation, because it's an example of things they can do and a visual that they can do at home or in the community with their kids. So we usually start off by asking them how they feel, if they're interested, because that's important to know. And then we give some examples of the different exercises that they have that they can do. We try to hit every gross motor skill. And then at the end of the community field trip, we choose a skill to work on or an activity to work on. So for example, we've had videos about, this one is kite flying. We've done gardening and dancing. And these, again, are done on a monthly basis. These are uploaded on a monthly basis. So again, you don't have to be a parent to access this. If you think this will help any of your students who have special needs, and it would be a good visual for them. It's available for the world to use, and hopefully everybody finds it helpful at home.
Also, I want to say the reason why we do 2 videos is because one video specifically for our students who have a hard time, who have physical limitations. So those are a lot of our students who have physical disabilities, wheelchair bound. So we have videos specifically for them to work on skills. And we really work closely with Dr. Grace. So she also gives us some ideas in regards to stretches that they could do or manipulatives they could work on. So the video that you just saw was more geared towards our students who need exposure to activities, who have still limit some gross motor skills, but have a lot of them in place that they can participate in activities, versus our other students who have physical disabilities, need specific stretches and need to work on more strength building and muscular endurance. Sorry, Miss Inez.
No, thank you. Thank you. That was perfect. So we can provide you the link to this. The link will always stay the same, so you can just check it on a monthly basis for the new videos. And then this is example. And this is an example of the hard copy package that we sent home. Again, it's based on student goal, student need, parents, and student interest, what they have available. There's a lot of factors that go into how we choose the activities. We try to choose activities that we know the student needs to work on. At the same time, will be easier for parents to help them with. So we really go by student need and what they are able to do at home. We have a lot of students that have been very resistant. So for example, that's why we would start off with something a little bit easier, like walking. And when they start becoming more successful and consistent with that, then we start introducing harder skills on these home learning packets. And for the students with different physical limitations, like Ms. Andrea said, we do work in collaboration with Ms. Grace on activities that can be done in the home setting and safely based on their physical limitations and needs. Like we said earlier, we collaborate with Dr. Grace Almonte, who is the physical therapist for GDOE. Ms. Andrea, she wanted us to give them her email. This is her email if you want to ask her questions about students under her program.
So remember what I said, we're really our goal this year with LES is to really become a team with the people we need to work closely with, which is you guys and the physical therapist. And I did talk to Dr. Grace before I post this. So if you do have students who do have physical therapy, this is her email. And please email her if you have any questions in regards to modifying the exercises, because you guys are working on fitness for students in her program. She's a really good resource to have. So she's always happy to help. So please keep this in mind if you know your students have physical therapy in their IEP. And lastly, we just want to say that we are here to help. This is a partnership. So we didn't want to go into too much detail, because first we want to introduce ourselves and let you guys know what we are here, and to give a really basic training. And then next from here, we want to hear what you guys concerns are, what trainings are you interested in? If you have questions about the referral process, then we could talk about that too. But this is a beginning of a beautiful partnership. Hopefully next time we will work on getting other schools, or we're really going to talk to the other schools, but we appreciate everyone that is here. And if you could spread the word that LES, we're here to help. Even if we might not have your student in LES, if you just ask us about the disability and how we could modify, then Inez and I have an email, and maybe after I stop sharing, I will also put the website and our email of where you guys people can contact us too. I see that BM, all the schools that are here, we do have students in LES at your school. So if you're not for sure if your child has LES, then that's something that maybe you could ask the CRT about, and we could keep each other updated on that child.
Andrea and Inez, you did a great job, and there's a lot of requests about help with autistic students in the chat too. But I was going to ask, do you happen to have your SOP handy?
The current one or the
The
working
one
one?
you were sharing with me. Yeah.
Okay.
If you
We can-
do, I was going to say, well, tell everybody it is a draft. I have it sent to Mrs. Gabriel, but I think you'll see it's one of the first divisions or departments that have done this. They actually have made an SOP for what it is that LES does and what is eligibility and the forms in there. And while we're going to tweak it, I think there's some great info that while you have everybody here, if you want to show them what that looks like and the forms that you use, I don't have a problem with that. If you're not ready, that's okay too, but there's some great stuff in there.
A lot of
Just-
pressure now. Okay, no, we're ready. We're ready.
Can you pull it up?
I'm pulling it up. Oh, no.
Okay.
I'd like you
Give me
folks to
time.
see it. And
I'll find it.
since it's in draft form, folks, like Doris and Arvin, give us some feedback if there's any when you see it. So why don't you share, especially, like your forms. I want them to see what that looks like.
No problem. Andrea is pulling it up right now, sir.
Super.
Inez, can you also work on putting the website and our email on the chat group, please, while I'm
Will
looking
do.
for SOP?
Will do.
OP. You guys are making me so nervous. My words are getting all mixed up.
Stop. These folks did the first round and they did it for all our parents. And I think they did a great job. People were very, very pleased. Resources are really nice too for a family to be able to say, here's some things. There's even the videos they've done. I think they've done a great job.
Thank you so much.
So right now, what I'm showing, I'm hoping,
Bigger.
maybe give bigger the view. Hold on. Is that better, guys? Okay,
Yeah.
so what I'm sharing is the SOP that I was talking about. This is a draft that will be sent to Ms. Gabriel. Neil was suggesting we show this to you guys because for one, for you to be informed about what we're looking at and what we're looking for, and two, maybe to give some suggestions of where we could be more detailed. So this is our program description. We really had to be more detailed in regards to what disabilities we're working on and what kind of skills we're working on. So that's where actually last school year, me and Inez really had to sit down and create this SOP together and really look at the program and see what is the purpose of our program and what are we looking for in our students who are qualified for LES and what is their need. And then please tell me if I'm going too fast. I do have a tendency to talk too fast. I've been told. So if you please type stop or tell me stop if I'm going too fast. This is the eligibility process. So what usually happens is that when we get a referral, it's from the IEP team. They usually have to meet together and request for a referral for LES. And we do have a referral checklist that we created, and we would be more interested if PE teachers were to fill out that LES checklist because you guys are more familiar in regards to the skills we are looking for. And I will also be showing that to you that's at the later part of the SOP, but this is just the eligibility process. So if you see right here, I said, or it indicates complete LES referral checklist. If you have not seen one before, this is us creating a SOP so that that's why we're putting it in our SOP. So when people put in the referral package, we need to know specifically what we're supposed to be looking for or why the referral is in. Sometimes in the past, we have got referrals that they request for LES, but when we look at the data, there's no concerns in gross motor skills. So we need to really make the connection of why LES is being asked for and what is the child's needs in regards to gross motor skills. So this is the test specifically for PE teacher, or that we will be using at you guys' levels. If you want more information on that, then you can also email us too. It is subsection 528. And this is not only with that assessment, we also take into account the reports, our observations, the class structure. And then we already went over this in regards to the direct services, pull-outs. This is the type of services we provide.
Sorry, Andrea, can I just add, we look at environmental factors. We also consider, has the student had opportunities to practice skills? For example, for the alternate assessment, we don't just throw our kids in and say, take this test, right? Because we can't expect them to be successful if they haven't, especially with a lot of our students, if they haven't had the opportunity to at least be exposed. So that's a factor that we look at as well. Just wanted
Also,
to add that.
on a legal point of view, similar to that, Inez, is you know that, so to go back to when SPED started and there were actually kids kept at home, sometimes closets, you know, and didn't even go to school. So you cannot classify a child or give them services. Here's a good quote: for lack of instruction. In other words, you can't give services to a kindergarten because they don't know their ABCs if nobody's ever tried to teach them the ABCs. Got it? Just
Yes.
simple that way.
So it correlates to the CST process. In a CST process, they ask the teacher different questions. Has the student had ample opportunities, and has the student been given ample interventions before referring for special education? So this would be something similar. Has the student had the opportunity to practice manipulative skills?
Also, an important time with any of the services, remember, I'm sure you're hearing more and more about response to intervention, RTI levels. Our students have to be part of that. So you do have to know that you've started out at a tier in the school and given whatever local support there could be. And is that enough before it gets raised up to the point of special ed and referral to LES? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you. So I'm going to move forward with, because we already went into detail in regards to direct services and how LES can help PE teachers, or what we're looking at specifically. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention for the co-teaching, if you do have one of our students, let me move back up. Did I not? There you go. So for the co-teaching, if you are interested in this, please reach out to the LES provider for your school, and we could definitely collaborate with you. What would be the most convenient time for us to come in and work with that student and whatever you're working at in that school, but to also make sure that they're being included in class. So we really would try our best not to do it as a pull-out session. It's more like we would be there together to work on the skill, because where our students with special needs learn the best is with their peers, we have found. So we would want to encourage the skills they will learn from their peers, but also work on gross motor skills.
So do you get that, phys ed? You guys can get extra help, not without reason, but if you have a student that's got LES services in a class, and as you said, we don't want to pull out, LES will pull in, they make sure they service the child, but they're in the room with you and able to help things manage a lot, better. That it can't take care of the rest of the class, but it certainly gives you the ability to instruct at the level you want to. So great.
We'll follow you guys' lead because, like I said, it's a partnership. We're not here to tell you guys what to do or tell you how to service our kids. We want to be partners with you. And you may not have an LES student for us right now, but definitely in the future, you may get one of our LES students. We do have a lot of elementary students currently, so they will be coming. They'll definitely be coming to you guys' school.
Give them
And
an
when
idea.
they do, you
Give them an
guys
idea of your
here.
caseload. Give them an idea of your caseload. How many kids do you see
Um,
working other services?
Inez, we have about 80 students together, and separately that would be, I have about maybe 25 elementary students, or we have about 25 elementary students. I could be off because
Okay.
Our load is a
I
bit
don't look at
different.
them at the numbers. I look at, oh man, or I'm like, okay, I gotta work with MU. That I look at the school and not really how many students are there, but I think our caseload is about 80 students, if I'm correct, overall. And
I
that
just
would be
wanted to get
25.
a flavor of what you do and how many and where they are.
I'm sorry, say again?
I just wanted to give them a flavor for how many and where you are, because people might not realize that we got that many kids that are going through now. So
Yes. And also if we also did a training with the elementary schools, not with just you guys, because like I said, we're trying to make sure we create a partnership with our schools. But if you feel like a student needs leisure ed services and they're not in our program yet, please be vocal and try to speak with the CRT and the IEPC, or well, there's no IEPC here, but your CRTs, and ask how you could push for LES services, because we really want to make sure that the students who need our services are getting our services. So with that said, we're moving on to the referral checklist. And the reason why you maybe have not seen this before is because the new LES team want to start implementing this. What we did is we did a part A and we did the levels like you guys currently do in school with the standard-based grading. And you would check mark what level they're at in regards to the statement that we're asking for. So for example, the student participates in PE structured gameplay with his or her age appropriate peers with or without accommodations and modifications. So you would check mark what you feel like is appropriate for that child. There are 4 statements that are listed. What we added to is because we want to know specifically what gross motor skills they may have a hard time with. And these are gross motor skills that are listed in the BOP2 test. We didn't indicate everything because there's a lot more we test, but these are the main ones that we feel will give us an idea of the student's ability level. And then, so you would check mark in regards to the levels where their gross motor skills is at. And then when you go down, there is a key if you're not for sure what the levels mean. And then we do have a statement here that if the child gets level 2 for 3 or 2 or more questions, then leisure ed may not be appropriate at this time. It's just a suggestion. But if you decide to continue, we do ask for detail in regards to how you implement them in your curriculum, what modifications and adaptations you have made for the student. Okay, so I'm not being told I'm going too fast, so I'm going to keep scrolling down because it's just the same thing I keep talking about in regards to modifications and adaptations. The next 2 checklists is we wanted parents to feel confident that when we are providing pool field trips, that it is for that child's needs. And we do go through a checklist for every single one of our students. So every student gets the opportunity. When we do pool field trips, or when we have the opportunity to do pool field trips, because obviously we can't do it right now, and even when we go back to school, the pool has been closed. I don't know if you guys been updated in regards to the Dedido Sports Complex where we've been going for the pool field trips. That's still a work in progress. But if pool was happening, then this field trip is this opportunity is aimed towards our students with physical disabilities. This is where Dr. Grace comes in, and we really try to work on muscular strength, muscular endurance. They do gross motor, or they do a lot of aqua laps in the pool because it's a lot easier for them to, with the, because of the lack of resistance in the water, that's a lot easier for our students to walk in the water. So we go through a checklist, and we try to make sure that it's fair for every single one of our students, so that if a student may not qualify for pool, because that has come up before, like, well, my child likes pool, how come you're not giving them pool? We let them know that the pool field trips is aimed more towards this, and their ability level is kind of high for what the group we're aiming for. But I'm going to move on to the community field trip. We do have a checklist for our community field trips. So the community field trip, we aim this more towards the age group that you guys work with, is our secondary level. Because if you remember what I mentioned before, we're trying to do gross motor skills in multiple settings. So we tell parents that maybe are like, oh, but I want my child to have pool. And I'm like, maybe that may not be towards their needs, but community field trips, this is more towards their needs, because they need to practice gross motor skills in multiple settings. They need to be able to practice the skills you're implementing in your classes so they can live an active lifestyle, which is the goal for all of us, is to make sure that our students are keeping active with special needs. With this community field trip checklist, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. This is the requirements we have for the community field trips, which is that they'll be able to participate in gross motor activities with or without accommodations. They have been given multiple opportunities to consistently practice gross motor skills. So like I said, this group, we aim this field trip more for our secondary levels, because usually in our elementary levels, we really try to do direct services in school, because we want to make sure before we bring them out to the communities, can they listen to simple instructions? Can they make sure that they could be safe when they're out with us in the community field trips? Can they even do the gross motor skills we're requiring or asking them to do at these community field trips? And we need to make sure they had the opportunity to practice these first before we bring them out. With that said, what I was going to say about the community field trips is that what we implemented for our community field trips last school year is that we gave a questionnaire to our parents and to see what our child's or our students' interest is. So the community field trips that you saw in our videos were things that parents have told us that they were interested in their child doing. It wasn't just, oh, let me just make a community field trip about this because it's more convenient for us. This is actually what the little surveys we got in, this is what parents have told us that they are interested in their child doing. Some other things we were working closely with, and maybe Inez could explain a little bit more about it, is with the Parks and Recs, to start a program with them, because our goal is to make sure that they're doing an active lifestyle. So we're really trying to work with community partners. So we're working with the Parks and Recs, University of Guam. We were working with Special Olympics. They did a badminton field trip with us to try to get our students more involved in the badminton Special Olympics. So that's how we're really trying to make sure that in regards to our secondary level students, how are they doing the gross motor skills, and how are they going to continue this for a lifetime, not just only with us. I think that's the end of the SOP. If you guys have any suggestions, please just go ahead and indicate that in the chat. Make me stop sharing. If you have any questions if you have any questions in regards to the Parks and Recs, like how we're working specifically with them, then Inez is a little bit more familiar with that area. With me, I have been working more with the University of Guam, specifically with the PE program, to try to get the PE program to maybe try to do some like a jamboree with our students. Also, I forgot who else we've been working with. We've just been working with a lot of people. Oh, the Special Olympics. Yes, yes. Because we've been trying to keep in, whenever Special Olympics is doing a team, we try to follow their field trips or follow their sport by implementing it into our field trips. So we let parents know that, hey, your child could join this because they're really good at it. But Inez, if you want to explain more in regards to the parks and recs.
Yeah, I think you explained it actually, Andrea. I was trying to jump in, but you're on a roll. So again, our goal is to have our students out in the community participating in different recreational activities. So like Andrea said, badminton, we did a badminton field trip, and students that really showed interest, we sent a little nice note home saying your child did amazing and was interested. Are you interested in going to practices? So that's one of our goals. The other thing that you talked about was us collaborating with the National Parks Services. So that was something that we have started collaborating with the National Parks program. And this year was supposed to be awesome, but we'll see how next year goes. We are trying to collaborate with them because they also have a pilot program where they're trying to get members of the community and especially people with disabilities active in their programs for, to make their visitors more diverse. So they actually collaborated with us, provided materials on kite flying, provided the venue. We didn't get to go, but next year, hopefully. So that's just an example of something that we've been exploring. We're exploring taking our students on a trek with the National Park Service, a safe trek, easy, where they wouldn't be overwhelmed. But we just want to work with different people in the community so that our kids' parents can take them on these types of activities, and they will have the exposure, and they will know that there are resources out there aimed at getting their students involved in the community. So again, if anybody has any other recommendations, any other programs that you think would love to collaborate with us, we're interested in collaborating with everybody in order to get our kids ample opportunities to explore different things in the community as well. And that's it. That's all I have to say for that. Any questions?
That's awesome. So can I ask, just a little audience participation, anybody surprised at what they do and that this is all, new, that you knew that there were people doing this kind of stuff? And what do you think about some of that paperwork? Will it help, be clearer now? The fact if they get an SOP approved like that and checklists, do you think they're clear and some guidance for teachers to make referrals? What do you think? Anyone?
Any input is very helpful because we're still trying to develop the program. The program's been here for a long time, but we're trying to find our groove, I think. So yeah, it's new to you as well. Okay.
Thank you. So
So we're on a good roll.
Can I say something? This is Doris Abaganan.
Hi.
Hi, from Beneventi Middle School. So I'm familiar with the LES program. It used to be a pull-out program, and I'm glad it's changing now that ELS actually goes to the classroom to observe and help out the teacher. So my question is, it's kind of tough to assess our students right now. Everything we're learning from our students because of the SPCOR 1 is based on paper. So what I've been doing with at my school is like, I'm just referring to the OP teacher. Hey, who had the student? What was he able to do? Or what was she able to do? What did she like? What did he like? I mean, I need suggestions because I like I said, most of my students are hard copy. That's even challenging. So, and of course, I send out a checklist from to the parent to ask, what can your child do? Circle all the things he or she can do. So walk, jog, skip, run, what are all these just locomotor movements. And yeah, so based from that, I designed my lesson.
That's a really good idea. Also, another recommendation. So of course, talking to parent, talking to the old PE teacher. Another recommendation is taking a look at who was on the IEP team last time. Because for example, if it's a student just with autism, for example, they do have other members of their teams that should be familiar with their capabilities, interests, that was 100% part of making that IEP. So when I have questions, I usually go to like the assigned IEP, what is it? The Autism CRTTA for support, and they've been amazing in providing us with assistance because a lot of them have followed our students for a number of years. So that could also be another thing that you could try, just reaching out to the IEP team that helped develop the IEP. And their names are usually in the attendance on the that we signed for. So if you just type their name in the GDOE email, it should pop up. We're here for you as well. If you need us, we're here for you.
So just to end on, or we shared a lot of information. Maybe you don't feel comfortable with sharing right now. Maybe think about what students, or like I said, first step, if you feel like a student needs LES and they don't have us yet, please speak to the CRT and try to follow up on the referral, or if that is your student. And next thing we would want to work on is, I did see a couple of teachers requesting for the autism training, specifically in PE. It seems like we have a few people interested. So after, because we do not have all the schools here, so me and Inez would like to do another training with the other schools to make sure that we get everyone before we move on to the autism training. But we definitely will look at that and let you guys know. Like I said before, the autism training for PE will be from us, but we will definitely be working with the CRTTA Autism. Did I mix it up? I think that's their description name. But we would definitely be working with them, and they will be looking at our slides to make sure that if we're missing anything, that they will give us suggestions. I did already speak with one, and she did let me know what to concentrate on specifically geared towards PE, because I think that was the concern of this PE teacher, that autism training a lot is within the classroom, but you guys are not within the classroom, you guys are outside. So how can you get your students involved with autism in your setting? And we will be working on that. Please let people know. I know some of you guys because I went to school with you guys, but if you have other colleagues, I see all my OPE friends. Hello, thank you for coming. But if you can let others know about LES and what we offer, at least if they have any concerns, give them our email, because our goal really is that our PE teachers would know who we are, one, and two, won't be afraid to reach out if they need any assistance. I did have an incident at one school that the assistant principal reached out to me and asked for assistance, but the PE teacher was scared to ask me for assistance. So I had to really let her know that please tell that individual to not be afraid. Please come email me. So it's just a work in progress, but we're starting somewhere, right? And this is the start. Any questions, anyone? Nope. It doesn't look like it. It just seems like someone was, some people were asking for that autism training for PE. Neil, do you have anything to say before
We'll
anyone?
follow up with that. I think you do, ladies. You do a bang up job. I love the website, the resources, get some checklists out to folks. Spread the love, and everybody be safe. And we appreciate all you do. So thank
Ms.
you.
Bola, to answer your question, this is a draft. So this checklist won't be available yet, but once it gets approved, we usually send it to the CRTs and they would have it on hand. I want to answer it before you go.
No problem.
But
Thank you,
everyone.
thank you, Mr.
We're gonna
Neil.
work with the other
Thank
schools.
you, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Stay safe, everyone.
Thank you. That was great, guys.
Holidays.
Bye. Bye, my
All
friend.
right,
Thank you for coming.
Bye, everybody.
all right, thank you.
Evan, thank you, sir. Okay, so you all have a wonderful day. You did great. Thank you so much for doing that.
I'm gonna stop the recording now, Neil.